As a matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it, let me go in the options and see if I can set it to do that automatically. Because it wasn't on. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. And I think that fixes all of them. All right. So now what I would like you to do, okay, everybody's got on the camera good, because I want you to get used to that, because this is like a regular class. The only difference is that it meets in Zoom, but we meet at a specific time. We'll work together at this time. We'll have some things outside of class, and then we'll test in this class. Now, this part, the early part, the 020, the one that meets now, when we're in, you're not really testing as much as you are in the Math 120. This class is primarily based upon participation for the grade, and then the Math 120 is based upon tests like most math classes. So, all right, so we got a few people here. Let me go ahead and mark as we go. Has anybody got any questions about anything? Sometimes I'm much better at answering questions than just telling you stuff, because my stuff is pretty routine and I can show you the syllabus and everything.
I was just wondering, on my Canvas, I have like, I don't know, things have been being graded and it says that they were due back in like spring semester. I don't know.
Well, I might have to check the dates. I assume that what we're using in this class is called Alex. That's through McGraw-Hill, and it does some weird things sometimes, and especially syncing up the dates. So it may take some time, or I may have to take all the ones out of the 020 assignments and let them come back in, because they have to meet up. Like, this is the Alex side, and then this is the Canvas side, and they have to meet up sort of like this, so that they appear to be the same. Now, before midterm and final, when I get my grades in order, I'll check that and make sure that everything is okay. But that could be what it is. One thing I noticed when I was in Alex this morning, that, and I believe it was, is it Tori? I think the first name was different over there. You'd already started working on everything. It looked like you almost got everything finished, as far as what we.
It's so I don't believe I did. I don't know how it's doing that. I took the knowledge check. Is that what you mean?
That's what does it.
Okay.
What happens is, and there's a knowledge check that you go in first when you first set it up, and I'll show you in a minute. You take that knowledge check, and it will give you credit on anything that you answer correctly in that knowledge check. And then it fills in the grades. Okay. Now, let's say you didn't get any of those right. Well, everything would be in there just fresh with no grade. And then as you go through the path, each one of them is marked as a module, and it would put the grade in there. So that's what's happening. That's what's happening. It's giving you credit because you evidently answered a good number of those questions correctly. Now, one thing though, this class has got a lot of stuff in it that we don't use just because we kind of got to build it that way. So don't get too frustrated about all that stuff that's in that path, those grades that are already there. That's what's called the learning path. Now, those things are all together are only worth about 10% or one letter grade. So it's good to get those out of the way as soon as you can. But again, the main part of the grade is on participation, and then there'll be a final exam. And the participation stuff is what we do every day, the stuff we work every day. Let me see if I can take some roster here. Victoria, Buckley, I see. Matthew, where's your camera at? I want to see you.
Oh,
Okay,
how you doing?
good. All right, all right. So, anything else anybody can think of?
Mm,
I'll just take you through a little tour. All right, so when you first come into Canvas, here you are. If you go to modules and somewhere in here, they've changed this around. I may have to put an extra link to it, but the little syllabus addendum, we call it. I know how to get to it from pages. Let's see. I also put it in the link, I believe. Let's see if this helps us. Nope. I'll just put it somewhere else in here. I know I put it in there. I just tested it last night, but I don't see where it's showing. It's office hours. Okay, here we go. It's just the color of it. So anyway, to see this, it's like the third one down. Well, you don't see that one because it's not published, but you'll see this one. This is general stuff about Delgado. And then right here is, this is basically tells you all the stuff we need to know. Oh, I didn't click the right one. So click on that addendum.
are we supposed to be seeing your screen?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm not sharing. I thought it was. Okay, so yeah, here's the share, okay? All right, so if you go into modules, the department or the division way is to set everything up the same way. And for the life of me, I can't figure out how this is less confusing for the student, because it's confusing for me, because I would just always put the addendum at the top, since that's important, most important thing. But you click on that and then click there. And this is basically the contract for the course. Okay, this is how everything's done. So, and I got a little bit of, professor humor there, college humor about this, because everything's in here. Now, you don't have to be afraid about asking me anything. I'll just hold you to this, though, and I'll point you back to where the thing's at if there's any questions. But this is not anything in here that's intimidating or anything. But all right, so as we go through, this is kind of the stuff that we're looking at. Like I said, this class is not very well structured in the sense that there's a whole lot to do, but you do have those things in the path. But just keep in mind, perspective, that all that together is only 10% of the grade. And there's a lot of stuff in that learning path that you're not going to directly need to know. So take it for what it's worth. A lot of students stress out about that path, the learning path. And then the thing you want to focus on are these things that we're going to do at certain times. All right, so like today is an orientation. We're not going to really do anything. I'm probably going to have you do this one first, but we'll talk about that maybe tomorrow, because I want to make sure we got as many people here as need be. All right, so make sure you got everything set up and started to work before that census day, because the census day is when the college asks us to drop people who have not attended. And in this class, the attendance is based upon participation. Okay. So there's actually stuff to do, because You're not going to be very successful in here if you just leave everything to the end. That's the biggest issue I see is people are afraid to jump in, and then you get up to the this day here, and in the Math 120, we'll have a test about that time, and it's very hard to go in and prepare for a test in 1 or 2 days. Okay, it's a cumulative process. So these are the assignments here that things are going to be based upon, and then about 3/4 of the way through the course, we got to have a final exam. And the good thing about the final exam, it's not based upon the material directly in the 020. It's based upon the course that we're trying to pass, which is Math 120. Okay. And it's about 3/4 of the course. And then once we finish that, we stop doing stuff in here so much and then just gear everything towards the Math 120 and its final exam. And the final exam over there in the Math 120 includes everything because you also got a chapter 11. And so that's what the focus is on, being successful in the Math 120. And keep a note of this because the time is different. The final exam for the 120 course is on the 18th, and it's at a different time. I may be able to get some flexibility in that, but it's like 3:30, and you'll see it over in the other addendum because it's not in this class per se. This is the Alex. I'll kind of take you through that on how to get started the first time. And then there's a specific calculator that you have to use for the Math 120 and this class for any kind of testing. And really in this class, there's only the one test, that final exam. But I'll show you that. It's a pretty popular one, and it only costs a few bucks. But this is the one that's the official calculator for the course. Okay. The TI-30X2S. And the good thing about this one is that it will help you with fractions. In other words, it will simplify fractions for you, which is a big plus. So this is the calculator you're going to need to have for the midterm, the final. So the other tests I'm not so concerned about, and I'll even show you an alternative that will work pretty well. But if you bring a physical calculator, when you're testing, you need to be using this one. All right. Anybody thinking anything they'd like to ask? I'm running out of stuff to show you. We have so the way it works with attendance, I take attendance based upon name that I can see and face. So make sure you got both of those. Sometimes people come in with, and it'll say iPhone 6 or what. So I got no idea who that is. So make sure you change in the Zoom settings to where you're at. And I'm thankful everybody in here's got that. We have one day off this whole semester, and it's July 4th, which I believe is a Thursday. I'll show you this in a second. So for this class, as I said, you got 10% of the electronic stuff that you're doing kind of on your own, what's called the learning path. You will have some in-class assignments that will be using the same Alex system, and those are the participation assignments, and that goes in the biggest category of 55%, and then the final exam is 35%. Okay. And make sure you familiarize yourself with this policy about testing and stuff. I have a lot of students, so I can't just leave everything open. All right. After every test done, generally speaking, I got about 10% of people that'll miss. So this policy is designed to help you with that as much as possible and not have to be penalized for missing, okay? Because you do get to go without a 0 for a missed one, but it works very specifically. I'll just direct you back to this if you come to me after a missed test. So I'll talk about it in a little bit. This is a virtual class, but 10-point grading scale, 90s A, 80s B, 70s C's, 60s D, everything below that's an F. So this is the same warning I give you up there. Make sure you get started in your ALEKS work in this class before the 7th day of class, which is June 10th. All right, so over here, what you do the first time is you're going to go here to ALEKS, and you're going to click on that. All right, but you know what? I need to do it as a student to show you. I'm already in it. So is there anybody in here that hasn't done this yet? Because I know that there's about 3 or 4 people. It might be the same 3 or 4 people. But anyway, so first time you go in through ALEKS, and you'll always go in through ALEKS. You can go in through individual assignments in Canvas, but this way always works. And the first time you do it, they have you sign up. So most people have never used ALEKS before, so do that. If you're repeating the class, you'll probably get some benefit by logging in your original account, and then it'll match things up for you. But the first time, you got to do this. So let's put that in there, and then you click agree. And then when you hit continue, it means that you're now matched to my class in the ALEKS system. And there it is right there. And you can click on that.
So every assignment, we do it through ALEKS, right?
Yes, everything that we do is going to be in ALEKS.
Okay.
It's just that there are 3 different categories of things to do in ALEKS. So like, for example, the learning path, which is basically like homework. It's just that it works differently than a lot of people might be used to. But that right there, all of that is 10% of the grade. There'll be some things in there, little quizzes or homework assignments that we'll do during class time. Those will be the test. They'll be the participation assignment category, which is the largest category. And then the final exam will also be in ALEKS, but it'll be coded differently. It'll have a different color on it. So anyway,
so
ALEKS.
Sorry, I apologize.
Go ahead.
So is there going to be assignments we could do before class or after class or anything?
Yeah, like the ones in here, and I'll show
work?
you on here. Okay, so the first time you go through this, it just does a lot of bunk. You got to do through a lot of pop-up boxes first time. They give you a tools tutorial. If you feel like you need this, go ahead and do it. It's just make sure you know how to input stuff, but you can skip it. So this just shows you how to make a fraction. All right. And then the next one, I think this one is the one. They want you to do the exponent. So Again, we don't have a whole lot of algebra in here. There would be some in the path, but is it because you can't really take it out? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, anyway, I can't remember what that was. I'm just going to leave this one. But anyway, that was all. It was just showing you how to do the exponent thing. And this is the line tool. So connect dots. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and then they're showing you how to do the calculator. And this calculator is pretty neat. I like it better than the TI. The only issue with it is it doesn't do the fractional simplification. You can put in fractions and multiply them, but it'll give the answer as a decimal. So you got to then convert back. But this is a nice little calculator. All right, so that's a nice little calculator that'll be in Alex. All right, so now the knowledge check. Now, I would highly recommend to do this as soon as you can. Don't get stressed about it because you're not graded on it directly, but it wants to find out what you know, because the things that you don't know, it's going to keep in your path until you master them consistently. And it's going to be a pain in the neck because you got to get 3 in a row right. If you do that, they give you a break and you don't have to do any of it. But once you start missing, the path becomes a little bit longer, essentially. So that's why it's important to take this, because it'll minimize those things that are in your path. And if you answer questions correctly in the knowledge check, it will give you credit for assignments that are in this. But anyway, you got to go through here and answer these. Treat it like a test, but it's not going to directly affect your grade in the class. All right. If you can do your best. But this is why, and there's always a tendency for students to think, oh, I got to know this. Maybe I should look stuff up. Well, I wouldn't recommend looking stuff up, because here's the thing is, if you don't actually truly know how to do it and you answer it correctly by, cheating, for lack of a better word, then it's going to assume that you actually know how to do that. So when it goes through and does explanations, then it'll leave out those steps that it believes you understand. So don't try to think that you can bargain and reason with the system. It's not going to be expressed directly as a grade. So you're going to click start, and then it's going to have, I think it might be 20. Tori, how many questions was it? Do you remember? I can't hear you for some reason.
I want to say it was like 10 or 15. It wasn't many. That's why I was surprised.
Okay.
Giving me all the
Well,
grades.
it might be too. If you answer some correctly, it'll be shorter.
Yeah.
I thought it was closer to 25, but anyway. So and let me just give you a little bit of, again, warning about this. Some of these questions are material that is in the Math 120 class. Like for this right here, unless you're repeating this class or you had it in another class that was similar somewhere else, you're not going to know what this is for the most part, because this is in the Math 120. But if you're someone that picked this up somewhere else, or you had it in another 120 class and you're repeating, then you'll be able to answer this. Then that section in your path will be shortened based upon correct answer of these. But if you've not had it, there's no shame in that. You're going to learn it later on. So you can click I don't know, but it's, if you truly don't know, and then move on to the next one. See, like this one right here. This is algebra. We don't do that much algebra in here, but what we would do is just subtract 5. So that's 5u is equal to 30. 30 divided by 5 is -6. So and then you submit. And I'm not putting a whole lot of explanation there because we'll have some time where we'll go over a few of these and then we'll look at it. But it's not that big of an issue in the class. It is good to be able to solve for a variable, but most of the ones we'll have to solve are not this complicated. So you just go through and answer them as best as you can. So rather than keep on doing this, I'm going to try to get out of it because I don't want to bore you. I thought that was they had a skip in here for me, but I don't guess they do. So don't hit I don't much know so much unless you really don't know. I don't know. But you gotta submit it or you can't get to the other stuff. Let me just see what happens if I just keep doing this. Because I'm in the student. Oh, I bet you I know what it is. I bet you I know what it is. And y'all keep an eye on the time for me. I want to give y'all out a few minutes early, like a first day tradition, but I get bogged down here. There's a student view somewhere. This is really what I should have been doing. Because with the student view, my student view, it knows that I'm not really a student. So it gives me the option to get around stuff. Okay, so see, that's that same thing. And of course, the first time it's going to give you all those pop-ups. All right. So anyway, so the knowledge check, then answer them as best as you can. Treat it like a test, but don't stress about it because it's not going, you're not in it for a particular grade. So see, I got that over here so I can skip. So I'll just tell them what I kind of know. That way it fills in part of my pie. And that's what, Tori, you were saying that you got some credit. See, it fills in the whole pie in theory would be filled in, although most people are not going to get everything filled in. But see, it gives you credit for things in the knowledge check. So that's what's happening. That's why you had those grades in there. All right. And so see, it's giving me credit, and that's what it did for you, right? For certain things.
Yeah, it gave me a lot. I don't know.
All right. So now, this right here, if you're in Alex, is really what you want to do. Now, there's a concept in mathematics where things can be either continuous, like a straight line. Like if you go along a straight line, starting at 0, you go through a lot of fractions. And as a matter of fact, there's an infinite number of points even between just 0 and 1 because you're just going along a line and you're passing a whole lot of them. All right. That's what the learning path is. It's a continuous path, and you're going to hit certain modules, they call them, along the way, because they are broken down into individual modules. But you can also go through Canvas. Let's see. Where's my assignments thing? Do I not have it in there? Yeah, I don't have the assignments in there. Oh, it's
I think you had to like press the little I.
I? But
If
I
you
want to put
go
that
down and see assignments, and it's like an I with the to the left. No, to the left.
All right, I want to just put that in, and then let me. Okay, So to the left, what?
Go down.
I got the assignments there now, but
So it's on yours, but not in ours, I guess. Oh, look. So it's gone
see
now.
all these down here. I can see them, but you can't.
Yeah.
So these are the ones you can see.
Okay.
But anyway, now if we go back to that student view, now if you go into assignments, you can do them individually, but just keep in mind that this thing works kind of strange because I'm going to go in and adjust these dates in a bit. The dates probably, now that I see them, are probably not up to date. I'll do that after class. Usually it guesses the dates pretty well. But see, then you're going in directly into that assignment. But if you just stay in here, you'll go through bunches and bunches of those things without having to go through them individually like they were over here. See, over here, it's sort of like a video game. In other words, if you stay in the path, it'll just take you through all of these sequentially. Okay, down to right here. Yeah, see, I got to go in, and that's what it's why it gave you that strange message. These are the old dates. I'm going to take them out and then let them resync because I had this class in the spring, so that's why those got 11 on it. So you can go through them through assignments, but just remember, once a due date passes, it doesn't leave your path, but it will take you on to the stuff where you should be at. That's what Alex is always trying to do, the learning path, is keep you current with the material. So if you build up stuff in there that you didn't handle when it was due, then it's going to build up in there, and it's not going to let you get away without doing it. It's just that you're going to try to be kept up with the pace of the class. So that's basically how this works. This is a good one to do.
Are there going to be due dates in Alex?
Yeah, there'll be due dates because here's the thing is you got to put due dates. Well, let me back up. For this class, the way we've done it is all the due dates are the end. So you kind of have to keep on your own. And I only say this as a teacher, there's really only two ways to do things. Either you have due dates throughout to keep people current, and then when you get to the end, hopefully you've kept up with as many as you can, or everything comes due on the final day. So that is the way this one I think is set up. So just watch that. Don't let it build up. But anyway, this is something that people might like not to know, and this is a useful thing that we'll see. We probably won't really need to see it until like mid-semester, but anytime you take that, a fraction means divide. So if you divide 79 by 1,000, see, this is a nice little calculator. See, it gets you the value right there. So if you just realize that most of these things in here are valuable, but not everything. See, again, this is just about putting together like terms. We may have to solve one or two equations throughout the whole semester, and they're usually very simple. So you just kind of got to realize you can only add things that are alike. This is essentially adding a negative 2x and a negative 10. I'm sorry, and a negative 8, which is negative 10. And the common variable is x. Well, this is distribution probably. I don't like this problem, but we kind of got to live with it. But what the 2 times the things in the parentheses means, we're multiplying the 2 times the 3. And why is this thing doing get in the way there? And then 2 times 4. I'm trying to get rid of that darn Grammarly thing. I just have to do this. I don't know why it thinks that's a. But anyway, hopefully you don't have Grammarly installed there because it's just ticking me off. Thinks that that's some kind of a word. Grammarly is something that you use for spell checking and all that. So anyway, oh, I'd put a 44. See, I couldn't see what it was I put. The 4 was good. Now this right here, this is what we're going to cover in the last chapter. But again, if you had seen things already, but it helps to be able to know how to read graphs, which is this is for. So if you don't know it, just click don't know. But anyway, see, I got 13 questions already. So unit price is pretty easy. If you take the 2.99 and you divide it by 13, see, then that tells you how much your tangerines are. They're 23 cents a piece. Don't forget your decimal because it said dollar, so you don't want to put $23. You put the decimal, so it's cents. So anyway, it looks to me like it's about 25 because see how I'm halfway? All right, so again, I thought there was a thing that would let me skip it, but I guess not. So I'm just going to go skip through everything. Don't follow my example because, like I said, this will help you get through things.
Yeah, I don't think I finished it because I don't remember it being that many.
Well, I don't know that you can. You might have to be able to go back in when you go back into Alex. If you didn't finish it, it'll put you back in it.
Yeah.
Because it won't let you go into anything else until you finish this. Like I said, I don't. What? Anyway. Oh, it's because it's over here. So we did finish it already. Okay, I'm sorry. In the other one. Now you can go through start or learn, but see, that's the way Alex is designed to be a continuous path to just go through on. In the Canvas, it is broken up into modules for the purpose of making it easier to bring grades over, because otherwise, you just get one grade on the whole thing. But this right here, it breaks it into individual grades. So if you ever get confused about where you should be, maybe you missed a date. See, I got to fix that because August 28th is too late. That's a month after classes is over. So, but anyway, you start that and it'll take you through the things that are in your path. This is not something that you really need to have for this class at all. So I'll leave it to your wisdom about where they're. And I can't give you necessarily a whole list of things that you're not going to need to really do, but this is part of math and it is something that's in here. It's a basic kind of question, but we don't really need to do this. But anyway, it does have you go through some pretty mean looking things. If you can't do them, ask about them in class, okay? And I'll try to give you a little break on that. But this is 2 times 9, so that's 3 square roots of 2. I'll explain it to you later if you really want to know. We don't have to worry about it now. See how that's going? It gives you credit on one. Now watch. If I answer 3 in a row, now this is 4 times 5. And you know what? I can do this right here. I'm not going to be able to do this for all of them, but let's see. All right. To just show off my kind of, okay, so that's 4 times 5. And the reason why I picked 4 times 5 is because 4 is what we call a perfect square. What's the square root of 4? In other words, what do you multiply times itself to get 4? Well, you get 2. Watch. So I'll take you through the 4 process. So square root of 4 times square root of 5. And the reason why I separated them is because this is the perfect square. So this would be 2 square root of 5. Okay. Okay, now see, he gave me another one. Like I got 3 because I got 2 in a row. So I'm going to answer one more here. This is 7 times 9. Or 9 times 7. That's wait. No, this is what is this? 9 times 8, right? Hold on a second. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Back that up. It's simpler than that. It's 36 times 2. So when you do these, you're always trying to get the largest perfect square you can. So that's why the 9 thing wasn't cooperating. And I'm only doing this, spending so much time on this because I wanted to show you how this thing is working when you get 3 in a row. So square root of 36 times the square root of 2. So this right here is 6 because the square root of 36. So 6 square roots of 2. So if I put that in, watch what's going to happen. Well, I put 5. But all right. So if I answer 3 in a row, it's going to give me credit for everything. So that means that it's considered you at mastery level. Now, that doesn't mean you won't ever see this again, because they do give knowledge checks throughout, and they'll just keep you on your toes to see if you can still do this. But if you miss one, if you miss something, it's a little bit more complicated. It's going to extend it out. Therefore, it's important to double check your answers, because if you're relying on that check button, it's going to penalize you for that, because it doesn't like wrong answers. Let's look at the explanation for this. See, if you don't know it, you can come down and look at the explanation. So, so what we got to do with this one, let's say I don't know what to put in. This is why you should never just put anything in and hope for the best. Let's say I don't know what to put here, and let's say I just put 12 in there. Then it's going to mark it wrong, and then I get another chance to check it. But I'm not going to be able to just do 3 in a row and be done. I'm going to have to do all 5 of them right. Okay. If you keep missing, then you're never going to get any credit on these and you don't ever build up your 5. So always double check. Always look at the explanation. Make sure you know how to do it. When you answer the problem, double check it. Make sure you come up with the same thing. Because if you recheck it again, uh-oh. So see, it's going to bring you back and say, okay, look at the problem again. Make sure you understand it. And they'll take that same one. All right, let's do one more and I'll just kind of show you. This is stuff we really don't need to look at too much, but let's see. So 168, I got to find the biggest perfect square. Nope. And let's see, 9. Nope. Like I said, sometimes these things are just hunt and peck. I'm just trying to get one right here. Well, I'll tell you what. $168. So it's even. So 42. Okay. So it's 7 times 4. So 168 is divisible by 28. There we go. So then this is square root of 28. That was 28. They're all still inside there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, so 7 times 4. I guess it's 4 is the largest one. And then there's a 4 times 7, so. Because this is the thing factor. Like I said, is if you struggle in the weeds too much, you can kind of blow them off, but it is part of the course. So this is going to be 2 square roots of 42. And then this is 4. I guess that's it. Because 42 doesn't have any more factors. Well, anyway, I'm not going to belabor this too much, but it's going to be a pain in the neck. It'll probably, and I would just suggest, this it is, if you get hung up on something, what it will do is if you miss too much, and I'll show you, because I'm getting frustrated with this myself. I'm going to just put in this. Let's just say I'm a bit frustrated. Oh, that's right. So now it gives me credit for 1. But let's just say, so this is 100 times 3, so that's 10 square roots of 3. So see, now after I miss a few, now it's going to go back and start giving me that credit again. But truthfully, if you miss too many in a row, it's going to say, just work on something else. In other words, it's going to bypass it and go to the next thing in your path. Like I said, it's different than you might be expected because each one of these things are not just individually, they're all linked together. So that's basically it for that. So what will happen? And once you're in the middle of a problem, it's hard to get out. But let me go to my view and just show you on the menu. So the other thing in here, they'll be under assignments. So as long as you're not working on a knowledge check, you'll be able to access these. They'll be in the assignments area. They're not in the path, but they are in there. And I'll show you when we get there. And there's some of them, like I said, I just got to change some dates on it. All right. Let's see. Did anybody else come in? Let me double check, see. I was thinking this class was filled up. Somebody emailed me during the break and they said, oh, I want to get in your class and it's filled up. All right, so everybody's here. So anybody got any questions?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, so we'll probably just take a little break earlier and then we'll come back at 12:30 for the important class. All right. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people in this class. And then we only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? All right, so let me try one, put the date on one little assignment to give you something to work on in assignments. Let's see. It's here somewhere. I may have to put it in there. I thought there was one already in here. I'll just tell you about it tomorrow. I need to put in a little respondus check. So for this class, if we take any tests, which really the only one we need to worry about is the final exam, you use the respondus browser. So you got to have that set up. And we got a little thing in here. Let me see if I can put it in real quick from another class. No, how much display? I guess I'm gonna have to find it because create one because I thought it was in here. All right, let me try one more thing. All right, I don't guess it's gonna let me copy anything over like I was hoping. So I'll just create one for tomorrow. All right, can anybody think of anything? Anything else you'd like to know? I think I pretty much told you everything. Like I said, the next class, the one at 120, that's the one that we want to make sure and put the full focus on. Because in theory, and I just tell you this is just kind of a to give you a little bit of hope in case you're really busy, because you got 2 3-hour classes here. That's 6 hours of class. That's in the summer. That's basically a full load for the summer. So the 120 is the one that you want to focus on, because in the worst case scenario, if you pass the 120, the one at 12:30, and then this one you don't pass because you haven't had enough time, you still get credit for the credit bearing class for the 120. All right, so let me see if I can set this up for you to give you something to do for today. So today is May 29th. I'm going to give this one like a week because there'll be other people coming in. And what I want you to do is just upload your photo ID because as it is, it's a virtual class.
Question regarding this. Photo ID as in like the school ID?
Yeah, the school ID preferably. You can use something else like a passport or.
Okay. I don't have a school ID. I never like received
Well, you
one
can use.
or anything like that. So okay.
You got to go over and actually go get it. You got to go to the police office, and depending on where you're at, if you're on the West Bank, you can go. It's there in the student center. If it's in the other building, it's I think it's in building 22.
Okay.
Because the way that the respondus works is, it matches up your face to your ID and all that. So make sure it's you. So that's in there. If you could do that, just making sure it's clear. You can also, if you want to, take a close-up picture of your face and the ID too. Also, too, it helps me learn your faces. That's one of the main reasons I do it, because Alex Respondus kind of handles the cheating aspect to make sure it's the student. So this is just give us a little grade in there, and like I said, it just helps me get to know you.
Could I use my ID picture? Like
Your
my
what?
actual like license picture?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
No problem with that. You can use a passport too.
Okay.
Photo ID. Okay, we're getting out a little bit early, so any final questions? Well, if you can think of anything, you can bring it to the next class. I'll see you at 12:30, all right?
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. I'll be here if you need me. I'll stay on. I'm going to stop recording.